Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and it has been quite the week. Just kind of always watching, seeing what's going on. And so I'd like to share and have discussions and also see what you've got to say and what you may be seeing in your different areas of the United States or even in the rest of the world, because we do get folks from other countries like Australia and not Alaska, but Canada. So wanted to encourage everyone to check their subscriptions also and check your notifications, because suddenly I'm not able to really get the response that I'm used to getting. I don't know if there's a shadow ban thing going on with YouTube with me again, or if I did something that I'm not aware of, so let me know what's going on with that. But if you like the video, please hit like. I love the thumbs up. Share the videos. That helps so much. Subscribe and definitely join in the comment. We've got Fiddlesticks, Ultramarine Ice Queen, Debbie Lynn, Rodriguez here. Welcome. For everybody, thank you for the thumbs up. Houston, Texas. That's what I'm talking about. H-Town. Welcome. All right. Today we are talking about food rationing that threatens the world this winter. All right. It's like the Grinch who stole Christmas. It's like for real this year, because we've got a container apocalypse going on here. But in addition to that, the Biden administration has some cootie stick deadline going on with truckers, or no, it's the airline kind of thing. It has to do with shipping. There's a vaccination deadline, and that they're trying to tell the president, hey, this ain't gonna work. You got to lay off of that. But if he doesn't, it's gonna cripple us even more. It could pretty much just slam our face into the concrete if that starts happening. In the wake of this kind of information, I have to start by saying, please start looking immediately into supporting your local meat markets, your dairy farmers, your vegetable farmers. Find the people that, may have an orange tree in your neighborhood, and, to get ready to trade. Start supporting those markets now, because they might just end up being your lifeline. Seriously. And the more that you support your local farmers, the more you support your community and the farmer's ability to provide for the community. And that might be something that you can't depend on these big chains anymore. And the local farmers have been on the low end of the totem pole for a long time, because the chains pretty much had the monopoly on that. Now is the time for us to seize the moment, to seize the day, and recognize just how vital they are. We've got people that sell their own tea mixtures. They make their own shoes. They fix shoes. Those things need to come back in style and into our forethought as fast and immediately as possible, because there's something to be said with being dependent on the system. It's not just about food stamps anymore. It goes way beyond that. It is, you realize we have a beast system on the way. And those people that are aligned with the beast system will also be dependent on a system to provide their food, provide their shelter, provide their safety. You see what I'm saying? So those of us who are dependent on the system are being trained to always be dependent, to their detriment and destruction. I'm going to take a good look real quick at the comments. Yes, they hate the truth, Ultramarine. That is for sure. Thank you, Debbie. Fiddlesticks, West Texas in the house. It's awesome. I love that. Thank you, Adrian, and welcome, girl. Happy Sunday. Thank you for sharing me out. Seriously. Adam H., welcome. South Carolina, welcome. East Coast. Okay, welcome, Dan Vincent. We always shop local and don't see any food shortages. Praise the living God. And I think that's how it's going to end up being. For real. Butchers, bakers, candlestick makers. It's time for us to switch. I mean, we can switch for better service on our phone. We can do that for other things too. We do have viable options, maybe even cleaner options. Fiddlestick says, I live near Mexico. Lots and lots of family produce meat markets here. All right. Good. Hello, Brian Smith. Welcome, sweetie. I have a major bulk vegetable market in my area. I go there. Good. Dude, I did not get the notification. AA. Yes, I think they are too. The last video, nobody even saw it. I mean, just 200 people. I go from 1,300 people and to like 200 views on that last one. And I even put out a comment like, hey, did y'all even get the notification? Not one comment, not one. I'm like, something's up. Hello, Z-Pack, welcome. Tim Giddy, welcome. Welcome, Michael Allen, Sodi 707. And David Adams. All right, from Memphis. Okay, let's get back to this. Because we're talking about the beast system that's coming in line. We know that there's a new world order that wants everything to be under one umbrella. And if they can get you dependent on the system and keep you there and keep you happy there, owning nothing and being happy, just let the government take care of everything, then they are programming people for the system that is coming up next. All right. And the thing is I always teach that the devil's gifts aren't free. There's always a great price to pay. You ever hear that not all that glitters is gold? Well, that is very, very, very true. And right now you are being lured. You're being lured to be dependent on them, and we've got to find other ways out. We've got to do something on our own, see? And communicating with each other, I think at this point also is going to be critical. You know, us exchanging, hey, this is what's happening to me in my area. Okay? We need to get away from being dependent on the system and to make things worse while we're having all of these shortages and food scarcity issues, fuel problems, just from couches to hairpins, we're having issues, okay? Biden wants to pay reparations to illegals, $450,000 per person, okay? Let me ask you how many of you got, you know, what's it called, those stimulus checks? Did you get anything close to $450,000 on your stimulus check? Because I didn't. Okay, for those of you who got it, not everybody got one. I know this. But that is a huge lure. That is a big sign saying, come here, we will take care of you. We will put you on the system. That is another way of saying we want slaves. We want to chain you to us. We need blood. We need people that will fight to the death to keep what they've got, their comforts, their creature comforts. They're being lured by Satan to a system, an evil, corrupt, dark system that is tearing this country apart and has its tentacles all over the world. Reparations to illegals, $450,000 per person. Oh, start that printer again. Okay, and while we face food scarcity, higher prices, and major national shortages, okay, we're already facing a measure of purchase limits, but what we really have to look forward to is food rationing. Forbes breaking news warned yesterday that food rationing and price controls are going to be the consequences of the shortages we are experiencing. Because you don't have to be psychic to know A plus B equals C. If things get scarce enough, if the problem gets big enough, it holds hands with rationing. And it wouldn't be the first time in history. There are some historical pictures of some really skinny people and a lot of photos getting whatever little food that they can get. Rationing in Sri Lanka for staple food items began 3 weeks ago. China Reported today. It was reported today that China is rationing diesel fuel right now. I'm telling you, you do that plastic distilling thing in the fire, just throwing plastic in there, it gives you diesel. They got YouTube's videos about that everywhere. I'm not kidding, y'all. All right. America's school meal shortage is worsening. If you have leftovers, you need to pack them up for your kids' lunch. Something you need to get creative. Send them, the celery with the cheese whiz, something, because they are not getting enough to eat in a lot of these schools. Okay. And if you have extra, and maybe send an extra lunch for somebody, because a lot of kids don't have any food at home either. If you can, I don't know, but definitely it's starting to alarm a lot of parents, and the schools are having to go out of their way to try to find the parts of the meals that they need to finish them. Okay. Good conversation going on. Great. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad everybody's here. I'm about to move to Florida or Texas. New York is crazy. Welcome, Resilient Lady at TNT. Okay. Mega Caravan is on its way now. That's right. Get distilled water, no fluoride or poisons added to it. Okay. All right. Do you know about what MOB or MOB? Oh, yes. Of course I do. And for those of you who don't, it's in Revelation. It's a good book to read, especially during these times. Fake Jews did 911. Okay. It says Supreme Court ruled that those who got the mark vax are now patented transhumans with no rights. We've talked about that before here. That's right. Because, well, we've talked about this before. Let's get back on topic. Well, at least me. Y'all can talk about whatever you want while you're here. That's fine with me, because what's important to you should be talked about here. This should be a safe zone for you, but I need to stay on topic personally. Okay, yes. All right. Now, when you look at all these things in front of us, right, there was a guy that I bring up once in a while, Dana Coverstone. He had a recent dream that he called the Desert Road. And the dream that he had was in line with a lot of dreams that a lot of people have had to begin with, or visions that were open visions, things that I've been shown over the years that I obviously talked about on my YouTube channel when everything looked just fine. Like this could never happen. Okay. But the point is that it's right in line with what we believe is about to hit us anyways. But I thought y'all might be interested in hearing what he basically said. Okay. He was walking down a wet road in the middle of a desert. Clear night, full moon. He saw 4 billboards, 2 on each side of the road with digital screens. There was a drizzling rain about the screens and only over the screens, but it wasn't hurting it or anything because there was a roof. The road he was on was slippery to walk on. Wolves were howling in the background beyond the horizon. The first billboard, like the beginning of the next season, is where he starts. Grocery stores with armed guardsmen and long lines of people to get in. 5 people in, 5 people out at the same time. Everything that was purchased was recorded. It was very cold outside. So now, talk about being in the system. They want to know exactly how much you've got, because later they might need to come get it. Second video or billboard, people in a green van marked coroner. I wonder why it's green. That's very strange. Wave of deaths coming from the freezing temperatures. Bodies being retrieved were frozen solid. Now, if you want verbatims of everything he said, maybe I should have left it in the description box, but it'll be easy for you to put it in the search engine on YouTube, David Coverstone. This is most recent dream. Third video, or on the billboard, report of East and West Coast are under management of FEMA due to inclement weather patterns that had destroyed some major interstates and roads caused by the groaning of the earth. People were advised to stay home, and gas stations were shut down from executive order. Martial law had been declared in most major cities. He said over 25,000, which I'm thinking he meant over 25,000 cities were like this. So you could be trapped basically in your city. There was no looting, no fires, no rioting, but there was a rain, sleet mix everywhere. He wondered if there was some kind of tornado damage because he said cars were thrown around, disasters, shutdowns, and tragedies. But see, typically, am I wrong? But typically in the middle of winter, people don't typically get tornadoes, do they? Or do they? It just seems a little out of season for there to be tornadoes. But I mean, at the same time, he's talking about the earth groaning and the disaster. So weird weather has been happening. Okay, you can't necessarily just rule that possibility out. The fourth video billboard, it was a small church with no fire. People were at the church, but it was cold. And there was a guy that's saying, "Where is the fire?" 10 people turned around that were praying and hid their faces in shame. Why are you sitting idly by while the world is suffering? Give them fire and give them food. Stop acting like Pentecostals while denying the power within. And this was that we needed to get, we can't be acting complacent in hard times. We need to have that fire in us from the Holy Spirit and start feeding the people with the word. Even, during a famine, we really need to, if this is all happening because of the evil in the world, because the world is coming under judgment from God for its sins. And so the more people that are on fire for God, the more it can affect things miracle-wise or tragically. So when the going gets tough, the remnant needs to get going. Okay, and that is pretty clear. But then, coming back to present day, the Common Sense Show reported on October 28th that a Blackstone CEO made a dire warning. Massive social unrest across the planet because of shortages will happen when the energy crisis hits. So now, what I was telling you, had a gut feeling about in August, now it is a guarantee, and it's being told all over the place. That's it's all in the news everywhere, and it's not just for the United States; it's for the entire world. And I'd said it. I was like, I don't know why, but I see problems with shipping, and I see major problems with the electrical grid this winter, really bad. And that's when I started talking about solar backup, ways to have heating in your homes that doesn't require electricity, things like that. And sure enough, the Holy Spirit in me, was validated, right? But now they're reporting massive social unrest will be coming with that. But I mean, depending on how hungry you are, your energy is going to start going. And it's going to be really, really cold, okay? As the energy crisis now is guaranteed to hit globally. They're talking no gas, no propane or shortages of, and everything that comes with that. If you don't have any gas, you don't get any shipments. You can't deliver anything, okay? Unless you have a horse and a cart or a bicycle with, wagon behind it, ideas, but it's time to start thinking, what's it called? Creatively. Okay, let's go ahead. Wood stoves, yes. We've almost always had a foot of snow on this date. Today it's in the 70s. Yeah, where I'm at, I think it's like, let me check right now and see what the weather is right now. But all that's fixing to change. Yeah, it's 79 degrees for us right now. But last night it was in the 40s. And it'll be in the 50s at night for the rest of the week until Thursday night for us. And then it goes low 40, low 39, low 40s and 39 from Thursday to Sunday. We won't get above 70 degrees after that for the rest of the week. Thursday's supposed to be really cold and wet and rainy. Yes, it is. I mean, because that's the beginning of our winter crisis. The weather's off, but I always remembered that in my area, we always have either a hot Halloween or a cold one. And right now, it's cool, but it's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's definitely towards the cooler side this year, though. Biden coughs in his hands and shakes everyone's hands after a speech with no mask. Right, David? Let's see. There's a shortage of bicycles and parts. Brazil is delivering pizza on horseback because of no gas. Mm-hmm. Nia Skoda says water turned to wine or diesel. There you go. Tongue twisted. Clarissa says Grand Rapids, Michigan has lows in the 30s all week. I've actually been using my solar battery like for more and more, and I've got this one little coffee pot. And you wouldn't think it draws that much wattage, but I tried it out on my battery, and it was like 543 watts. But since it's a 600-watt battery, guess what? It works. And I'm sitting here going, only takes a few minutes. And yeah, the higher the watts, the faster it drains the battery, but it only takes a few minutes to make coffee. Since this battery can charge while I use it, I mean, I'm starting to use it on more and more. And I'm just seeing that as an investment that's paying me back. And I'm getting ready. I'm finding out what household supplies will work on that. And I really wish I had one more, to be honest. Fiddlestick says that's how it is here in the West Texas too, the weather. Okay, cool. that's sweet. Hector 77. Directions to my bunker. Jesus Christ, Heaven, P.O. Box 77777, right? Oh, Pyro. Well, don't let fear keep you from, just living your life, but it's always good to be careful. Cowboys 8-panel you. Okay. Alrighty. Think we're doing good. All right. Yeah, so we're talking about the major cold fronts that are already starting to hit. They're going to, as time keeps going by, they're going to keep getting stronger and stronger as far as colder and colder. And in the middle of that, we need to be aware that while our very fuel and energy crisis is happening, that even though it's in another country, news like cyber attacks hitting gas stations, even if it's in Iran, is problematic to hear because guess what? It seems like America gets hacked every other day with Homeland Security and whatever, your nuclear power plants, whatever. Yeah, they could easily hit our gas stations. We could have a perfectly good day happening. Everything could be running smoothly and bonk, 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 bonk. So try to keep your gas tanks full. Don't let it go below a certain thing. Don't run them to empty. Get in the habit of using your battery, your solar charger, because you can also charge it while you're driving your car even. Just get used to handling that and to using objects, appliances. You're charging your computer on a regular basis. It will save you money and it'll get you used to it and ready for critical moments that are going to hit, because that no matter how much we try to scream, prepare, this is coming, the axe is on its way, a lot of people somehow don't get the news, or they do and they just don't have time to think about it. I don't know. But when you think about it, yeah, people froze in the Texas blizzard. Why wouldn't people be freezing this year if it's even going to be harder? Yeah. And it's going to be a worldwide problem, like from what I'm hearing. So just slowly but surely, people are dropping like flies. The world population is being threatened. Okay. So the one thing that I do feel is good to hear, at least one piece of good news on this, is that Texas Governor Greg Abbott recently told the UN to pound sand after recent criticism of Texas fuel use. See, they know that Texas has more refineries than I think anybody else in America. And they're probably one of the only states standing in the way of this country completely going down. And I think the governor knows that and sees this. Okay, so once again, thank you, Governor Greg Abbott. He's setting a wonderful example, and we need people on the front line like him because we export to a lot of other states. Okay, and with oil and gas production naturally comes the propane and other things that you need to keep yourself warm for the winter. Now, there was a dream that I'd had and put on YouTube, or it was a gut feeling, but I was talking about Christmas because I was seeing that something was wrong around Christmas. I can't even remember all the details. Yeah, I was talking about concrete roads turning to dirt and farmers' crops dying and them not able to buy clothes for looked like 3 years into it. They still had the same clothes. And I think there were birds falling out of the sky. It was things like that. And the one problem I've always had is when I see these visions, a lot of times it looks like it's about to happen now, but it'll happen a few years later. It still happens. But my timing's always been bad. And I'm sitting here going, I wonder if this is the year. And especially because I was like, looked like a few years have gone by once this started. Well, we still have 3 more years under the Biden administration, Biden-Kamala Harris regime. Can you imagine how much worse this can be 3 years down the road? Right? But in the meantime, we're having such horrible earth issues with the weather, the natural disasters, that land uplift has been spotted in the last couple of weeks from obviously La Palma, but also Japan, where you saw the World War II ships coming up, Yellowstone, major uplift, and even in Iceland. Okay. So it has to also make you wonder what's going on beneath the sea, because they do have subsea volcanoes also, don't they? Yep. Yes, Sandra Riley, we have to learn to live as a pioneer again. Be sure to share out these videos if you can. It definitely helps with the shadow banning. Yes, we can show that. Okay. Frank, 911, beware. PCR, yeah. All right. Okay, and so while we're in the middle of having this uplift and all of this major nature trauma, they're talking about bombing the La Palma Islands. Now, yes, if everything is precise and if they absolutely know everything they think they do, I guess that could work in their favor. But you do realize that there have been way too many people having visions years ahead of time about tsunamis, and people weren't just talking about the East Coast tsunami happening, but Africa also was saying they were having visions of a tsunami hitting them too on their coast. Well, guess what? Both can happen from the Canary Islands. So it's like, really, do you want to play with fire? Because that's exactly what they're looking to do. You want to just finish pushing everything over the edge, go ahead and bomb your volcano. All right, just hit us again. Right, this is what we're looking forward to. Rationing will be a thing, and so will the martial law, because the government always has to have at least some semblance of control. They're the ultra narcissists. They always have to have their hands in everything, no matter what is going on, trying to tell you what to do and tell you that you're not smart enough to make your own decisions or figure things out or think for yourself, that they literally need to pamper and diaper you throughout your whole life and tell you what to think, what to eat, when to eat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've even got smart toilets scanning your excrement. I mean, that is how bad these people have to be in control. So much so that they would put nanobots in your body that form some kind of connection with your brain and tracks you. I mean, come on. Unplug from these people. Break the chains. Watch what's happening. And I'm telling you, there are ways that we can help to combat some of this. And I'm telling you, supporting your local meat markets and your local people from now on, hard. Do it. If it takes a couple of extra dollars for the cheese, well, guess what? That's rising in the stores anyway. Get the good stuff. All right. And they have things like ghee straight off the farm. That's butter that lasts forever. Forever surveillance. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, Christine, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad. I'm glad no matter what time y'all come in. I'm always just so glad to see you. I think I'm on. That's good. We don't have enough critical thinkers. We have a lot of programmed people. Wheat from the tears happening. It is. And I mean, I have it in my own family. It's something that I think we're all going through, that it's just impossible to get along with every member of your family. It's literally torn in half by light and dark. And I know I'm not the only one seeing it. I've seen The Walking Dead. Clarissa. I can't even handle the TV gore. Imagine real life. I know the TV is filthy. Okay. Welcome, Beth Ann, also. Welcome, TC802. When La Palma goes off, it will take all the cargo ships to the bottom of the ocean. And see, speaking of that, yeah, they have one cargo ship had some weather. They got all these cargo ships that are backed up on the coast. So you can imagine what would happen if there's a storm or tsunami, just heavy waves or whatever. Can you imagine? All of those cargo ships slammed onto shore, all of those cargo containers, because you want to talk about a storm coming, the perfect storm. That is a tragedy and a catastrophe just waiting to happen. They've really got to get those ships unpacked and moving. Wonder if the Great Exodus is the next Passover. The Greater Exodus. Who knows? I don't know. Yes, there is also the Great Falling Away. I think it's necessary, because you've got so many people that say, okay, I go to church, I'm a Christian, but they don't really believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. They don't really live by it. They really are there for the sake of status. So I think the ones that were weak in faith either are going to be strengthened or they're going to be unmasked in times like this. Maddock Roughstock, Cedarville, California, checking in. Homeless up here with horses. This is real, folks. They target individually and attempt to take you out. And I think California is a great example of what they're looking to do to the rest of the United States. $450,000 reparations for illegal alien. What? Where's my $450,000? I live here. I mean, what do y'all think, right? $450,000. But you know what else that says is that money's going to be worthless. It's just going to be worthless. People are saying, yeah, I've got the resources, but the resources aren't there. Like the resources to pay, but the resources aren't there. And that even driving across town to find it in the next town, well, that's causing gas. And the gas prices are getting higher. So the noose is just tightening. You know what I'm saying? It's coming for everybody. Satan's children. Yep. You're absolutely right about that. Beth Ann says, I really don't think we'll be here more than another year or two. We're in a bottleneck of population. The Bible basically said a lot of us are going to die or be raptured for one reason or another in a very short, decade or something, maybe over 20 years. I don't know, but there's a huge bottleneck. One way or another, we're getting ready to leave. That's for sure. Just went shopping today, and our HEB is pretending to remodel because half the stuff is off the shelves. The cereal is only family size, large size, and giant. Could have just went to Sam's. Oh, wow. What does that mean? Okay. People still falling for politicians playing good guys. See, I'm telling you, I think those are programmed people that are on the system. They are in on it, or they're luring people into it for slavery. They just don't realize it. I mean, nothing is free. Nothing is free, especially with the devil's gifts. Clarissa says this beginning of planned mass global genocide. Yep, we're going to show that one. Metaverse scares me too. Yeah, and what's that thing with Facebook? They changed it to Meta. We've seen a lot of shows about that. Just Metaverse. You can tell the tentacles are reaching out. You've got a lot of antichrist spirits. He has his own army. A lot of people are working for the moment that their leader is going to manifest and be revealed. They're rolling out the red carpet. They're getting ready. David, to be bold in your faith. Yes. All right. Oh, you're freezing and miserable in Vermont. Oh my gosh. I hope you're able to find some ways to keep warm. I actually use tea candles and clay pots still. Even when I have my Mr. Betty heater, I use those still in different rooms. Zuckerberg looks like a cyborg, to be honest with you. Okay. I've driven 2,000 miles through Klamath Falls, Oregon, to Winnemucca. I don't know these names, y'all. Don't be mad at me. No housing to lease. You know, they even have these small little campers that can go behind your cars that are really not too expensive, that kind of just transform a little bit and you've got a little bit of space, you know. So do consider that, because with the way the housing market is, a lot of people are going to end up going homeless that aren't now. They will. So even if it's a little backup, it can go a really long way. Two bees in the house. President Donald J. Trump signed executive order that stated any countries involved in voter fraud, child trafficking would not be allowed to ship food on American soil. That's something I've never heard. No housing, correct. Teardrops. I charge all my batteries off my Blazer, off grid. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it always makes me happy to see the ones that have done some preparing, because there's going to be such a huge strain. The more people that have their own electricity, it won't put such a strain on the grid when demand is high. It'll actually help everybody. Okay. So, all right. I think that we're going to probably end up getting off today. And I just want to remind y'all, yes, I will be here every Sunday at 4:00. And I would love for y'all to join me, whether you are getting notified or not. This is your notification, Central Standard Time. Of course, please share out the videos. I thank you so much, all of you, for coming. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the weekend and a blessed week. Okay. Bye, y'all.